Welcome to CodeRef. So while I was going through awards for a while, just exploring different websites for some inspiration. And that's when I came across this website. And as I kept exploring it, one section in particular really stood out to me. This image section where the whole thing gets pinned, and as you scroll, images move in from different directions, follow this smooth circular motion, and settle right at the center. So I tried recreating this animation using GSAP, working on the scroll trigger, pinning, and that smooth circular motion of the images. And here's what I came up with. As you can see, as the page scrolls, the section is pinned, and the images animate along a circular path, eventually stacking at the center in a layered fashion. And if you enjoy these kinds of animations and want to see more content like this, make sure to like the video and let me know your thoughts in the comments, and consider subscribing to the channel as it really helps out. Now, let's jump into the code. So in app.jsx, I have two sections that basically act as spaces for the scroll, and in between them, I've added the rotating cards component. So first, inside the component, we define the JSX structure, starting with the main section. We attach a ref to this section so we can target it later for our scroll animations. And this section spans the full screen, hides any overflow, uses a dark background, and is set to relative positioning so we can place elements inside it properly. Then inside this section, we add a main wrapper div. This acts as a full-size container, keeps everything centered both horizontally and vertically, and again hides any overflow to maintain a clean layout. Then we add another div for the text content. This is positioned absolutely and centered, and it sits behind the images, so as the images stack in the center, the text remains visible in the background. Inside this, I've added a heading for the main text content. This is the text that will stay in the background while the images animate on top of it. Now for managing the images, I've created an assets.js file where I import all the images and organize them into an array, which we'll use to render them dynamically. Now we'll import these images into our component. Now we use map to loop through the images array, and for each image, we return a div that will hold and position that image. Now for each of these divs, we assign a key, and also attach a ref using cardsRef, so we can target each image individually during the animation. Then we position them right at the center of the screen, and use a small transform to perfectly align them from the middle, along with giving them a fixed size and some styling, so all the images start stacked at the same central point. Inside each wrapper, we add the image, taking the source from our array, and make it cover the entire container so it looks properly fitted without distortion. Now let's import useRef and create the two refs we used earlier. One for the container, initialized with null, and another one for the cards, initialized as an empty array so we can store references to all the image elements. Then we import the required dependencies, GSAP, use GSAP, and scroll trigger. Now let's move to the GSAP part. We use GSAP, and inside it, we first get all the card elements from cardsRef. Then we define an array of positions, which will act as the starting points for each image, placing them in different directions around the screen. Then we loop through each card using forEach. And for every card, we pick a position from our positions array. Next, we calculate the distance of that position from the center. This gives us the radius, which helps control how far the image starts. After that, we calculate the angle using the x and y values, which tells us the direction of the card relative to the center. Then, to make the animation feel more natural, we add a bit of random rotation, so each card is slightly tilted. And finally, we also add a small random scale, so the sizes vary a little and don't look too uniform. Then we use GSAP's set method to define the initial state of each card, positioning them around the screen, applying the rotation and scale, and setting up their stacking order. Then we use GSAP's GSAP.to method to animate each card, and connect it with scroll trigger. We use the container as the trigger, start the animation when it hits the top of the screen, and stretch it over a longer scroll range, while using scrub so the animation follows the scroll smoothly. Now inside the onUpdate function, this runs continuously as we scroll. First, we get the progress of the animation, which goes from 0 to 1 based on how much the user has scrolled. Then using this progress, we gradually reduce the radius, which brings each card closer to the center over time. At the same time, we update the angle, making each card rotate around the center, which creates that circular motion effect. Using this radius and angle, we calculate the new X and Y positions, so the cards move along that circular path. We also control the opacity, so the cards fade in smoothly as they move. And finally, we update the card using GSAP, moving it to the new position, slightly increasing its scale, reducing the rotation back to normal, and adjusting the stacking order so the animation looks clean as everything comes together at the center. Then we create a scroll trigger separately to pin the section. Using the same container as the trigger, starting when it reaches the top of the screen, and keeping it pinned for the entire scroll duration, so the animation can play while the section stays fixed. Finally, we set container F as the scope. And here we have the final result. A clean scroll-based animation where images flow in a circular motion and come together at the center. You can use this kind of effect in portfolios, product showcases, or modern landing pages to make your UI feel more interactive and dynamic. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel as it really helps out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.